Why hadn't I come across this brand before? The watch I'm going to show you today is an affordable watch, and it is from a reputable brand with decades of experience selling watches. I have a feeling that this brand is being slept on. I was quite surprised with how this watch felt on my wrist. After a few hours of wearing this watch, I was not aware that I was wearing this watch, and for a brief moment I thought that I was wearing a Casio watch. After I unboxed this watch, I experienced this watch for a few hours before I prepared the script for this video to, write down all my first impressions. I suddenly realized that I might be starting a separate watch collection of watches from this brand. God help me. Sorry, savings account. Let's open the box. Namaste everybody. We have just unboxed my first watch from Q&Q ever. Before I talk about this particular watch, here is a brief about where it comes from. Q&Q stands for quality and quantity, and this is a Japanese brand. Actually, it is a sub-brand of Citizen Watch Co. Q&Q started selling watches in 1976, and according to them, since their inception, they have sold more than 500 million timepieces across 120 countries. That is some achievement. Just like Casio has multiband, Q&Q has radio-controlled watches that they first launched in 2004. They also produce watches keeping in mind the sustainability factor, got to save the planet and hence humankind from extinction. Since this is a Japanese watch brand, a sub-brand from Citizen and Now that we know that this Q&Q watch is a Japanese brand watch from Citizen Watch Co., you can trust it blindly for its accuracy, and we will talk about the movement later. Let's dive right in. I bought this on Amazon India for just rupees 9.99. Let's look at our first Q&Q watch in some detail. I will cover one aspect at a time. The case is all resin, which makes this watch very light. This could be anywhere between 30 and 45 grams. The case design has allowed for a crown guard, which I always love. I need my crowns protected. It has open lugs, which allows the watch to sit level on a flat surface. The case is 43 millimeters in diameter, measured to the tip of the crown, has a lug-to-lug of 48 millimeters, lug width of 17 millimeters, which is weird, and case thickness of 13.6 millimeters. The bezel has 0 to 60 markings, but it does not rotate. I tried really hard. It does not rotate. Also, I have never understood the point of markings on the bezel that don't rotate. What do you guys think? The specs on Amazon for this watch mention the crystal as mineral crystal, but I had my doubts, so I checked the official Japanese website. The official site didn't have this specific watch, but it had watches from the same family, and the crystal mentioned for those watches was acrylic, which I believe this must be. I just don't like it when there is lack of information on product listings. The crystal sticks past the level of the bezel ever so slightly, which I wish it didn't. The watch just has a time feature, so the crown pulls out to just one position, so you can set time before pushing it back in. What an interesting case back. Very minimal with what looks like a laser printed logo of a yacht. I guess that's Q&Q's symbol for 100-meter water resistance. I'm unsure. It is a stainless steel case back with vertical brushing and 4 screws keeping it in place. The indices on the dial stand out because they are massive. They carry Lume, but it is disappointing. I shall show you the Lume later. I like the font size of the Q&Q branding at the 12 o'clock position and the WR label at the 6 o'clock position. The minute markers on the periphery of the dial coincide well with the markings on the bezel. It's a basic 3-hand watch. The hands are broad arrows for hour and minute hands, with the minute hand tracking over the full length of the indices, almost touching the periphery. The seconds hand has a nice touch, which is half white and half red, with the top red half that stands out. I like the overall contrast of the dial and the hands and the indices, making this a very practical watch thanks to the readability. The hands have generous lume, which we will arrive at in a bit. It's really disappointing that the seconds hand isn't hitting those markers. There goes my peace of mind. I will be tossing and turning in bed tonight. As usual, sellers are unaware as to what quartz movement the watch carries, but your boy does his research. This is a sub-brand of Citizen who manufacture their own movement under brand name Miyota. When I checked the Miyota website, there were 5 3-hand calibers. When I checked the official Q&Q website, I saw the watches belonging to the same class as this watch had the movement mentioned as caliber 2035. So I had to infer that this watch carries the Miyota 2035 quartz movement that has a plus or minus 20 seconds per month accuracy rating and a 3-year battery life. Not bad. This Q&Q watch has a 10 bar or 100 meter water resistance, even though the crown is just a press down crown and not a screw lock crown. The case back sits real snug on the case. Let me quickly remove the case back to see what we have on the inside. There is a gasket which helps keep the water out so you can do laps after laps in your swimming pool. I will be doing a freeze test on this watch soon. Stay tuned for that. The lume on this watch is nothing to write home about. The lume on the hour and minute hands shines bright for a bit after being activated but fades away in a few seconds. The lume on the indices may as well have not existed. They are weaker than my talent for singing. The strap is standard resin and it feels a bit stiffer than the softer resin straps from Casio I'm used to. The convolutions are inspired by the dive watches and it helps with ventilation and gives it a sporty look. I like that little brand engraving on the buckle. I have a wrist measuring 6.8 inch and this watch with a lug to lug of 48mm feels really comfortable. Not just because of the size but also because of the weight. After a while you forget that you have this on your wrist. This is one of the most comfortable watches I have ever worn. Here's why. The open lugs combined with the strap design allows it to wrap around the edges of the wrist, letting the watch sit snug without causing any discomfort. You can tell time with just a glance even from a steep angle because of the readability of the dial. This is ideal for casual occasions, and considering its water resistance rating of 100 meters, you can take it to the swimming pool, recreational scuba diving, or even to time your showers. In conclusion, this black sporty analog Q&Q watch is a practical watch that feels super comfortable on the wrist. It's a basic 3-hand watch that can become your daily beater without you having to worry about splashes when you do your dishes or when you're doing laps in the pool. The lume isn't the greatest, so I wouldn't recommend this as a nighttime watch, but during the day, this feels very practical to have on your wrist. Thank you for joining me today in the unboxing of our first Q&Q watch, a sub-brand of Citizen Watch Co., a company that has decades of experience manufacturing and selling quality watches. Alright, I need you guys to do one thing, okay? And I will go by majority. If you feel that I should buy more watches from Q&Q to showcase on the channel, let me know down in the comments. And please like, share and subscribe for more such watch related content every week. I might be unboxing a very popular G-Shock next. Until next time, stay tuned and stay classy.